Hi, thanks for spending time with me. We're looking at number 73 in Pottag's Preparatory Melodies to Solo work. I've been kind of working my way through these over a long period of time. This is the 8th one I'm recording today, so I do it when I have a window when I can get some work done. And then the editing takes all the time later. But I hope that you're finding these useful and that my work is paying off for you. So this one's called maestoso, which is just a basic musical direction, and many of you know it means majestic. So I start by thinking, well, what has that majestic character? It's something that is stately, something that is self-possessed. It's not easily disturbed. There's a tremendous confidence there. There's a sense of resting in your sense of authority, you might say, if you think in terms of like royalty. It's not really a conscious state of I am glorious, but more like something that you see in nature. If you look at the night sky, or you see, snow-capped mountains, or, whatever it is that kind of rings that spiritual bell in your heart, where something is awesome and grand. That's what you're trying to get. So I'm kind of talking myself into that right now. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that on this music, but at least I've got the idea, so I know what I'm aiming for. And as I look at the music, it's like, I don't really feel that here. I wonder how I can get that. But let me just go ahead and play it, and then we'll see what we can find. So when you always try and make a musical statement, you're always going to be more successful. You may not be able to execute it the way you want to, but at least you know what you're trying to say. And the more clear you are on that, the easier it is. So I'm just going to mention something very simple about this one. If I look at the form, it's basically two parts. It's A, B. It's very simple. I'm going to play through it rapidly. I've done this before for you, but you get the idea here. So you can hear, oh, this is the first statement. And interestingly, in between the two statements is a double bar, a light double bar. So it's even indicated, in a sense, in the notation. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit so it won't sound very majestic. So that's one idea, and that's why I wanted to play that for you. That's one idea. The second is the second idea. So you have 3 lines of music and 2 ideas. The key here is to play the entire idea. Don't just play the notes. Know it well enough to know where you're going, which is another reason why I like these melodies so much, is they're not long. So I'm not overburdened with trying to memorize an entire Beethoven piano sonata or memorize all 6 Bach cello suites, which is an amazing feat of the mind and of the memory and of musicianship. I wish I could do that, but I think my brain's a little bit old, too old to try that right now. But I can deal with 3 lines of music, and that's enough right now. So 2 ideas. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. I played it a little bit faster, so I hope you can hear that that's a complete idea. In other words, it has a beginning, it has a development, it has a peak of intensity, and then it has a kind of a resolution. And now it's clear that you've gone from, it's like a life. You know, you're born, you live, and you die. So there's the whole phrase. And then there's another life after it. And that's what we're talking about here. That you're hearing it all as one idea. Now, I don't have a whole lot to say about this one, except things you've already noticed. They're accents. So at the end, you have this forte to fortissimo. And when you're dealing with articulation, I like to call it pronunciation. How am I going to pronounce that? What is the character of it? So a lot of people will see accents and they'll do something like this. So most of the idea then becomes, I must make the front of the note very strong, very clear, very intentional. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you see that has a completely different character than the first way I played it. So I'm gonna do a little exercise. And it's just popped into my mind, which, as you can tell, so many things do. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play that as a slur, and then I'm gonna play it with various forms of articulation. And this is one of the ways that I would practice. What I'm looking for here, my goal, is to develop two things. One is the physical technical ability to make the musical sounds that I want over a fairly wide range of style. The second is to find the one appropriate way that fits this music. And you have to do that by experimentation. So here's the slur. Now you heard me tongue a little bit at the beginning, legato tongue, because I had the same note. If I wanted to do it as a pure slur, I would just totally leave out the articulation. And that's very beneficial because then I'm just sustaining sound. So that's the essential element. Now I'm going to play it with legato articulation. That did not feel as comfortable to me. It didn't feel as easy as the slur. So that's something to investigate a little bit. But I'm just going to move on and see if I can play it with, now instead of completely connected sound that's articulated, defined sound that's more defined articulation, but still connected. So that's kind of a standard articulation, you might say. We use that a lot. Well pronounced, but sustained. Now separated. And you notice I'm slurring the triplet because otherwise it'll be a distraction. It's just a pickup. So I'm still thinking the line. My body is poised as if it were continuously carrying the air because it has to be ready to carry the air. But I'm separating, and there's two ways I can do it. I can go ta, 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 which would be an open release. Or I can go ta, 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 which is a closed release where my tongue is actually ending the note. Now, this sounds more complicated than it actually is. If you do what I just did with my voice, ta 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 ta. So I'm saying ta, like saying hot. Ta ta. My vocal cords stopped vibrating. Why? Because the tongue created a seal and the air stopped. But I'm still singing ta ta, ta, ta. That's what you want to be able to do on the trumpet. Now you can carry that a little bit farther. You can go to more and more separated. Great way to practice. Practice for the musical quality, especially of the release, not just the attack. So this is a little clinic from a few bars of music on how to practice articulation. It's free. Now you just have to go do it and listen, because your ear will tell you whether you're being successful or not. What's another thing to do? Well, you can start to shape the notes, and this is really useful. So now I'm going to do a normal, well-pronounced, one might say accented, attack. I hate that word. Release of the notes. So now not just the front, but the beginning of the note has weight on it, and then there's a little bit of a release in the musical intensity. So I think you get the idea. I mean, the musical targets are almost infinite in nature. So the main thing is practice the basics, slurred, very legato, well-pronounced legato, slightly separated, staccato, which just means separated, and then getting to different shapes of notes and different sounds in the front and the end of the release. And you'll have covered everything you need to do musically on the instrument. That's amazing. And I do it by playing a musical phrase, and that's what makes it fun for me. So I hope this is fun for you too, and I hope it's been beneficial for your work. I'll see you later on. Have a great day. Bye-bye.